and stories, there is this often recollection of past. That is, there is this often going through past, recollecting the memories, especially your female characters. And to name a few, we have Bhavana, excuse me, we have Chetana from Arachar, that is Hangwoman. So, how is this idea of female memory and how is it important for you? Idea of female memory.
Good morning to all. I think normally when I come for sessions, I'll be the most stressed person in the hall. But now I think the moderator is more stressed than me. So she has straight away gone to the question without any niceties. So she has actually pushed me from the present to the past, which I am trying to escape through all my works. See, past, why writers dwell in the past is a question which can be answered only by psychiatrists or psychologists or anthropologists and all. But ever since we start to write, the past is there, writing for us. Maybe for me, the past becomes a person, a writer by itself, and starts demanding or forcing me to write about me or let me write for you. I think this is something very psychological in a way, that it is because of the past our behavior, our perceptions, our attitude, our dreams, everything is decided by the past. And for a woman especially, past is what shapes her. She's like a nation. Just like a nation is being shaped by its past, just like any religion is shaped by its past, a woman is also shaped by her past. It is like unless you have memories, you can't write. Unless you have a past, you don't have memories. And unless you don't have memories, you don't have the stuff to write. Only the past and the past experiences create memory, and out of memory, just like what Pamuk said, you achieve the level of endurance and obstinacy to keep on writing. So I think all my characters, they are shaped by their past, maybe my past, maybe the past of the women around me, and of course, they are like giving you examples of new perceptions, new attitudes, and better behavior. That's my intention.
So when you were just saying about the past of other female characters or the people that you have met, so when you just said that what you write is a combination of the memories or the stories that you have come across of different women, right? Your own personal memory as well as the collective memory. So a single character would have the memory of many women that you would have crossed path with. So how do you find that common line, the common thread, to weave all?
Thank you, Prarthana, for that question. Although she is stressed, no, her questions are very good. Okay. So I love that question because I believe that no single woman can claim a piece of memory of her own. Our memories are collected. It's collective. They are actually, it's a continuum, no? We are like the ecosystem. We all form the ecosystem where each one of us touches the other with our roots, which is not or visible to those who looks from above. But only if you go deep into the soil, into the earth, do you see that all the roots, all that root system are sharing with each other. We are all held together by the support from each other. So there is no collective. That's why when you read books of writers who are women, because when you say writers, we all automatically think that, by default, we think that they are about men. No, that's why we have to specify that writers who are women. I hate the term women writers. It's like the monkey writers or canine writers, such a classification. It reminds you of such a classification. So the writers who are women, if you look into their works, you will see this common thread passing through all of them, wondering how a woman's experience in Kerala, who has been born and brought up in Kerala, resonates with a woman who is born and brought up in US or UK. And this is amazing. And you are forced to believe that the women of a generation or all the generation shares a collective or a repertoire of common experiences, and we are all unaware of it. Maybe unawarely or unknowingly, we actually reflect them. So how does this happen is something which has always intrigued me, and I think it is because women and maybe transgender persons, they all experience the outside world through their bodies. So in Malayalam, if you say, ഉടലിലൂടെയാണ് സ്ത്രീയും ട്രാൻസ്ജെൻഡർ വ്യക്തികളും ലോകത്തെ അറിയുന്നത്. When the men, or when I say men, please don't mistake that it is like for all the male persons. No, I may include feminist men also with women and transgender persons. So the people, there are two kinds of perception. One who looks at the world and experiences it through their desires or their goals or aims, or maybe a little selfishness, the hegemony, you know, and the other who perceives the world through their bodies or suppression. So one group, when they tend to look at the world in terms of power, the other group tends to experience the world in terms of oppression and suppression. And this makes all the difference, I think. And this makes all the experiences of all the women writers all over the world shareable.
So while you were just talking about the idea of power, what actually interested me in most of your book was the idea of choice as well. So most of the women characters in your books, they find an agency to get the choice. They make the choice. Either they fight for it or they fight for it. And they get the choice. They make the choice as to who to love, whom not to love. They even make the choice not just in relation to body, but also the choice of should they wait. So how important is this idea of female choice, which most of us are not, we don't see that in our day-to-day life. I don't think most of the women they don't get the choose. The idea of choice is questionable. So how important is the idea of choice, especially
the idea is choice is important for every citizen, not only for women or men or transgender persons, no? The idea without choice, I think that in today's world, in fact, women have more choice compared to men. because they don't have any other choice other than sticking on to the age-old concept of masculinity, which is year by year becomes toxic in an effort to prove that to be more masculine is to be more acceptable or something, no? So even women try to actually become more masculine to show that they are strong. That is because from our past experiences or past perceptions, we have always associated everything strong and courageous to masculinity and men. All are different, no? Actually, none of these terms are connected to each other. When you start replacing a man with a human and a woman with another human, can we experience the kind of, what should I say, the importance of choice. So when you have human dignity an important claim declared in our the preamble of our constitution, you should understand that as citizens we all have equal equal power and equal status, and what all we have to claim should be our choice. So a man should also, the man or the men in the present India should also be aware of the choice better than the women, because women of the present day India are making their own choices. I can't say that all women all over India, because India is special in a way that you cannot apply any rule to all the women in India. Women of India are like, although we share the common taproot system, we are all different. We are all different individually and societally and in group-wise, across all the groups, all the sections. So that's why no feminist rule or no liberation ideas, ideology works for all the women across India. You have to find different ideas to ensure the right to choice for each and every section of women. So that is very complicated, no?
Actually, while listening to some of your interviews, so this is something that we were talking about, that, you know, as interesting as your books are, so are your interviews. It also tells a story of its own. So your interviews also tells a story of its own.
Yeah, Prarthana, it is very difficult for a woman to actually catch the attention of so much men and women sitting here. No, I have to ensure that all of them listens to me. And as a woman, especially for a woman who writes in her regional language, which is Malayalam, which most of the other Indians cannot even pronounce well, no? So it is like a task for me. It is like a challenge for me to make sure that when I speak, I have something more than what I have written in the books to share with my audience also. Of course, it increases my performance anxiety, although, but to be frank. But honestly, I am a very spontaneous person, and I am just like a very amorphous person who is changing ideas each and every minute and applying that to my life and to others. So I wish to think better when I am with a group of like-minded people. So it is all because if my interviews or my sessions are good, it's all because of the people sitting in front of me and the people who are questioning me. It's none of my skill or ability.
So also, while talking about translation, I would also like to say that recently, Meera ma'am and a group of 5 people, 5 selected readers, they all went to Kolkata and they went through the same lanes that Chetana from Arachar, that is Hangwoman, went through. And I think that's the first, no one has ever did that in so long, or I think no one has ever did that ever. So it is also, in many ways, you are recollecting the past, in the sense you are recollecting that K.R. Meera who wrote Arachar back then. So how is the whole process of, reading or rereading and going through the footsteps of Chetana along with going through the footsteps of K.R. Meera?
That was amazing. Actually, that idea was mooted by my husband, MS Dilip. So every year, you speak to them as if they know or everything about me, books and myself, no, which may not be correct. So she was speaking about my book Hangwoman, which was originally published in Malayalam under the title Arachar. Arachar means executioner, and Hangwoman is the translation to give a better clarity for the work. And when I wrote Arachar, it was completed in 2012 and published in December 2012, which appeared in the bookshops in 2013. I went to Kolkata about 3 times because I had never stayed in Kolkata before that. So, but I knew Kolkata and I knew Bengal because being a Keralite and how Kerala and Bengal had similar socio-political situations because of the presence of CPM in both the states and all. So when I went there, so even before I went there, I had read a lot of Bengali novels translated into Malayalam. And I had an impression that this Bengal and Satyajit Ray's movies, of course, then Rabindranath Tagore, everything, every piece of literature which has shaped us as a society, as a group of readers, had something to do with the Bengali literature. And I was although I didn't like the place when I first visited in 1998, when I decided to write in the background of Bengal, because the story thread was there, I wanted to write about the women who were obscured in the history through a woman protagonist who had a lot of me in her. I was discovering myself or answering my own questions or making clear what my exact questions were on women empowerment as well as our socio-political conditions. And I decided to make Kolkata my background because the job I chose for my protagonist was that of an executioner. So here was one woman for the first time in independent India, and even before that, maybe all the history of India, becoming an executioner. Why it's very important in I'll put independent India in quotes because the job of Arachar or the executioner requires the eligibility of the first eligibility to become an Arachar in independent India is that the applicant should be a man of not less than 5 feet 2 inches or so, with a lot of presence of mind and strong will. So this is why I decided to choose that job for my protagonist, who is Chetana. So here is one woman, at least in the fiction, an Indian woman who could perform the job equally with a man to show that she too will have presence of mind and willpower and strength. And she is also courageous to do such a job for the state. So that was an experiment. And when I decided to choose Kolkata, I had to go to Kolkata. I wrote the first 5 chapters of the novel, and when I showed it to my husband, who is an editor, he said, not my editor, he is working as an editor, a journalist in a weekly. So he said, this is good, but it lacks Kolkata in it. So we can go to Kolkata. And we went to Kolkata. And we stayed there for 1 week, and I came back and I wrote up to 16 chapters. And then I said, I want to go to Calcutta again to recharge. So again we went there. This time we stayed for about 10 days and we came back. And after the novel was ready, I was still worried about it because as a Malayali who doesn't know even Hindi properly, had to write about Bengal as if I had been living there. See, every piece of work thrives on its factual correctness. It's like it's like an individual, no? Unless you are truthful, unless you are credible, nobody is going to love you. Nobody is going to believe you. That credibility is an integral part of even a work of fiction, a piece of fictional work. So I decided, I had to pretend or act as if I was a Bengali woman of 22 years, trying to write about myself and my surroundings. And that's how I went to Kolkata. And I roamed around Strand Road, of course with the help of a friend called Subhojit Das. And we went there and I saw Strand Road and Neemtalak Hut for the first time. And I found a place for my Chedana to reside. So I fixed one location as my protagonist's house, and then traveled along the roads which she could have traveled if she were I. And that's how I wrote the novel. And after so many years, that is 1 decade, maybe 12 years, we decided to go to Kolkata again because the book had crossed 50 editions. And the moderator actually, the anchor actually reduced the copies of my books by 50,000 copies, which is unpardonable. That is one book. That's the first Malayalam book to cross 50,000 copies in the shortest span of time. So no, there are others now. But it was for the first time a Malayalam book was crossing 50,000 copies in a few months' time. And it has crossed almost 200,000 copies as of now. And so I thought, okay, we'll go with them. And this idea came because so many readers, they used to visit the place after reading the book, and they used to call me from here and there, ma'am, we are now in Joroshango Thakurbadi or Strand or Neemtalak Hut. It's just like as you described. So every time they call me, and sometimes when my friends tell me that they want to travel with me along the routes traveled by Chedana, I was always thinking of going there again. And in a conversation, suddenly my husband said, why don't you take some of your readers who want to go to Kolkata with you? And we can have a program like that when the book crosses some milestone or something. And that is how we just spoke about this to our publisher, DC Books, and they were very happy to organize this trip. And the first time in my life, it was so unimaginable for me, or it was I was so excited that I was taking very young readers, even younger than my daughters, to this place. And I just took them around. I was explaining how I found out this place, how Chedana walked through this, and it was amazing. It was like I became 10 years or 12 years younger. I suddenly became more energetic. Something which had died in my mind suddenly sprouted roots and leaves, and I think it made me a better person.
That's wonderful to listen to. Um, and we were actually just talking, and ma'am was saying that she loves to interact. She loves when people ask her questions. So I think now we'll open the floor. Those who have questions, please.
Hi. What you spoke about the roots that connect women is fantastic because there's this friend, we have come here, we live in Bangalore, but we checked in so that we would be able to make the best of the Lit Fest. And one time, and I have this friend in Ranchi, and we exchange books, and we're in the car, and we carry a book together besides sending. And we opened, she had Jezebel for me, and I had Kabir for her. So it was like that. Couple of questions. One of your interview, you said you are at the same time writing 7 to 8 books. Is that true, and how? So that's one. Second, what is the connection to Bhubaneswar in Assassin? How did you manage to write about Bhubaneswar? Thank you.
Thank you. 8 books is somewhat exaggeration. I have written about 4 generation born and brought up in Kerala, as educated as myself, of course has an exposure to other states in India. We are the first group of women who traveled across India on our choice. Of course, our previous generation, they too have traveled in search of work, maybe after marriage, because so many Malayalis were working in Mumbai and other states. So not on their choice, looking for their jobs. So this was kind of, and I loved Bhubaneswar. I loved Bhubaneswar, I loved Orissa. That was one place I thought I could relate my character with. That's why Bhubaneswar came into thing. And also because of the geopolitical peculiarities of that place. So that's why I chose Orissa. And I love Bhubaneswar, of course. Although I don't like to go to the temples like Puri and Konark. I hate that. But for that, I love the place. It is. I should. There won't be a sequence. I'm not sure. No, maybe I will be. I can't say I won't write, because many things I said I won't do have been done, or I was forced to do in later stages. So I won't say that I won't write a sequel to Assassin or Hangwoman. Maybe I would do, but of course there is another book. Another 3 books complementing each other. Because Assassin has been the story of the fathers, and there is a book which is being, it's in the process of writing, which reveals the story of our mothers. So there are other books complementing that.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We have run out of time, in fact.
You already reduced my 50,000 copies. Give them back and give me back my time.
Ladies and gentlemen, K.R. Meera, author of Arachar, which has sold over 200,000 copies.
Thank you so much.